Hi and welcome back. Today I'm going to give you a quick tour of how I have my exhaust hood set up for my forge. So this is how my forge looks from the inside. I'm using a side draft forge hood, but the way I needed to set it up, the actual opening to the hood is quite a distance from the center of my forge. So I have this square box that you see sitting on top of my forge, and that basically is just a smoke catcher. It captures any amount of heat that is generated when I start up the forge, and it directs it into the opening of the forge hood. So basically anything in there is going to get sucked up the chimney. This box isn't attached to anything, it's just sitting on my forge, and it's basically just to make sure that all of the air that gets sucked into the stack has to go across the top of my fire pot. And this is how the smoke catcher looks from the back. The two pieces of angle iron just keep the box aligned with the opening of the side draft hood, and the round bar across the bottom just keeps the sides from splaying out. And this is the actual opening of the side draft hood. This measures approximately 6 by 14 inches, which comes in around 84% of the stack volume that I have. The ladle is showing you the location of the center of my fire pot, and you can see how it's quite a distance away from the opening to the hood. Ideally, these need to be located as close to the fire pot as possible. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to set it up that way, so I have it sitting on the end of the fire pot as opposed to the side, which is where they normally are located and where they work the best. When I first installed the hood, I had an extension coming out from the top of the forge hood opening, which extended pretty close to the center of the fire pot, and it was hoped that that would direct enough hot air into the forge to generate the draft that I needed, but that wasn't the case. There was too much air short-circuiting underneath this hood, and that was just killing the draft. So, it really didn't draw well at all. So I had no choice but to totally enclose that space and build a box that just fit around it. Now all the air comes in through that opening and it has to go over the forge. So that preheats the air going into the hood, and that just creates a really tremendous draft. And that draft starts the minute I light the torch to get the fire going. I have my forge mounted in front of an old window opening, so the forge hood actually extends through that window opening to a box which is mounted on the outside of the building. And the sole purpose of this box is to have somewhere to mount the chimney stack. I have it built here as a large square box because that was the easiest way to block up the window opening and mount it to the outside of the building. But this can be built any way that you want. The important thing is to maintain the proportions between the actual opening to the hood and the volume of the stack. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that the volume of your stack does not need to be contained in one unit. Here I have two just regular 8-inch stovepipes, and it's because that's what I had on hand and that's all I could afford at the time. And the two volumes combined add up to roughly an area of 100 square inches, which is the minimum that you want to use for a forge. When these pipes rot out, I will be building a heavy gauge sheet metal square stack, but this system works fine and I've used it for years because it was cheap to maintain and easy to install. So here I have everything back together and I'm starting to light the forge. I'll try to make it extra smoky so you can see how the air flows through the hood. So here I'm just taking a bunch of raw coal and I'm just stacking it on top of the forge and piling it up. And even though there's only like a small handful of coals that are lit underneath this pile of raw coal, you can still see how the smoke is being dragged sideways into the hood. And here you can see in the top corner where I'm pointing, the hood is actually filled with smoke and it's trying to roll out the front edge, but it's continually being sucked back in by the flow of air going over the fire. Hi, I'm Dennis and thanks for watching. If you're interested in supporting this channel, the simplest way, of course, is to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have questions and you want to contact me directly, you can do so by emailing me at either one of the addresses that I have listed here. It may take me a couple of days, but I will get back to you. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.